Digital age verification. Concerned parents love it. The UK and Australia can't get enough of it. Brazil is fining companies that fail to abide by their newly instated age verification legislature, and California wants to lock every operating system behind a digital identity check. And yes, that would include the operating system running on your refrigerator.
457-55-5462. That is my real social security number.
If you've ever worried about identity theft, it's time you...
In the early 2000s, everyone was preaching never to give out your personal information online. But in 2026, we seem to have reached a period of enlightenment. You're now encouraged, if not mandated, to submit the works. Your government ID, facial scans, and maybe a birth certificate. We promise we're not going to sell your data, and we pinky swear no one's going to steal it.
Right.
This is the MO of our modern day world. Governments and companies want your personal information. Unfortunately, in recent months, we seem to have lost another beloved company to the latest wave of digital identity verification policy. Since you clicked on this video, you probably know I'm talking about Discord. Now, for millions of gamers, including myself, Discord has been a staple service for at least a decade. Whether it be for simple voice chatting or hosting online forums and communities, Discord has managed to bring a great number of digital communities under one cohesive ecosystem. And despite a few bumps along the road, public opinion of Discord has remained relatively high over its lifespan. That is until they announced the impending implementation of a new age verification policy for all of its users. Discord announced they would be rolling out enhanced teen safety features across the platform, locking all new and existing accounts to an age-restricted teen mode. The new default teen mode will prevent users from accessing age-restricted content in channels, and will prevent users from receiving messages from unknown accounts, and will also alert users with a warning when they receive a friend request. It also has overall stricter content filtering in contrast to verified adult accounts. I don't think the problem lies with the restrictions themselves. I actually think blocking messages from unknown users could do a lot to protect children from online harassment and potential predators. The challenge is instituting these protections in a way that maintains current and future user privacy, which is a challenge we haven't yet seemed to be able to solve. But Discord does claim to have solved this conundrum. According to Discord, teens make up a large portion of their user base, and with policymakers across the world placing a greater emphasis on digital control, child safety, Discord claims they want to get ahead of the curve and design their own age verification architecture before they are legally mandated to comply. According to Discord, they are actually doing us a service because their age verification system will have a lighter touch than the more invasive government-imposed verification systems UK. Sure, that's probably true, but the invasive systems set by countries such as the UK or Australia are an extremely low bar to improve on, hence the backlash.
I do this shit for the love of the game.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't take pleasure in the absolute upheaval caused by the announcement of this news. It's one of the main reasons I'm making this video now. There is yet to be a single digital identity policy to be implemented without controversy. And why shouldn't there be controversy? The rollout of this policy is on the tails of a massive data leak in which over 70,000 Discord users had sensitive account information exposed to hackers. The stolen data included government-issued IDs, selfies, usernames, email addresses, and messages with their support team. And guess what? This leak targeted one of Discord's trusted partners. Digital data is never truly safe. Discord's data leak is just one small example of this, but it proves you really can't trust these services. But despite this, Discord is asking their users to use either AI facial recognition or to submit a photo of their government-issued ID to fully utilize their platform. I think it's pretty self-evident why users would be upset with the new change in policy, but Discord seemed to be caught off guard by the backlash, causing them to amend their initial statement not once, but twice. Discord's amended statement addressed two key points. They would only be utilizing verified partners who uphold strong data privacy standards, and that they would be utilizing existing user data to accurately determine the age of its users, allowing the majority of current users to continue using the platform without having to manually verify their age. Sounds better, right? Sort of, but not really. According to Discord, facial scans will be conducted locally and will never leave your device. The only information being transmitted to Discord will essentially be a yes or no check in regards to a user's age being above or below the teen threshold. All I could think about was how easily this system will be to circumvent, and more importantly, what will Hasbulla do? Also, can this system realistically determine the age of someone who's borderline adult, 17, 18, or 19 years old? And additionally, Discord will only be using trusted partners for ID verification and will only receive your age rather than a full photo of your government ID. So don't worry about their previous data leak. They have since dropped that trusted partner in favor of another. Discord has emphasized their commitment to data transparency and will fully disclose the partners they work with and how they use your personal information. Supposedly, your information is instantly deleted after being sent for verification. And to add even more fuel to the fire, this extra point of clarification came from the second amendment statement by Discord co-founder Stanislav Wisniewski after their trial run with verification partner Persona was deemed unsuccessful. And this was due to links between Persona and Palantir, who are one of the biggest assistants of mass government surveillance you can find. Ouch. I think the nails in the coffin are really starting to add up here. But what about the majority of users who Discord claims will never have to verify their identities? How does that all work? Well, it turns out, unsurprisingly, Discord is already collecting an extremely large amount of data on you already. They claim to be able to determine your age utilizing information such as account age, times when the user's online, games played, payment details, as well as a vaguely defined behavioral signals. Now, what this sounds like to me is that they are already monitoring you to such an extent that they are able to predict your age, essentially. But at least you won't have to submit a photo of your ID, right? Discord can spout all the fluff they want about uninvasive methods and trusted partners, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to whether you, as an individual, trust sending your data into the digital ether. It really isn't a question as to whether you trust Discord or not, because Discord is just the recipient of your data from its verification partners. And it also isn't a question as whether you trust their partners, because as the past has shown, the trusted partners are also vulnerable to data breaches from bad actors across the internet. The only way to be completely safe from this trait is to completely cancel your Nitro subscription and switch platforms. Maybe, until the next platform implements the same policy. Really, the larger issue at hand is the governmental pressure being placed on companies like Discord to implement these sort of invasive policies. So maybe we might have to take it up with our local government officials. In the meantime, we can resort to complaining online and making rant videos such as this. Now, I want to speak directly to Discord for a moment. It sounds like you guys need some suggestions getting yourselves out of the hole you've dug. In these modern times, I feel like we've forgotten about some of the tried and true age verification mediums, the OG methods, so to speak. I think in this case, there's no better way to articulate my point than a good old-fashioned tier list. So without further ado, let me present to you the latest and greatest age verification tier list, created by love, not by love, with love, by yours truly. Let's get into it. So here we have our list. You guys know the drill. S is the best, F's the worst. I would like to preface that this list is not a tier list based on the effectiveness necessarily of each age verification medium. From the standpoint of privacy, however, that is what we're going to be ranking these on. So without further ado, let's get this started. Okay. Self-attestment. Are you 18 or older? Now this one, Come on, it's a classic, clear S tier. It requires only one click and you're into the site. Now it is maybe easy for people to circumvent, but you don't have to give up any information, so you really can't beat that. Now for A tier, we have another strong contender. So this one is going to be similar to the self-attestment. It is another form of it, but you actually have to input your date of birth. Now this one is a strong A tier. The only reason it's not an S tier is it probably takes you about 5 to 10 more seconds to input your information. So unfortunately, it's not as good as the one-click age verification, but it's still a very strong choice. Now, from a standpoint of privacy, obviously I am over 18 or whatever age these websites need you to be typically. But I really don't even put in my actual date of birth, again, from that privacy standpoint. Not that it's really that bad of a thing to give out, but, it does give you the opportunity to change your birthday, maybe pretend you have a new couple digits here and there, a new month or whatnot. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes I like to put that I'm from the 1800s if they allow that. So that's all good fun. Now, coming up with our B tier, we are going to have, this one is the age verification that's based on current user data. Now, you might ask why I'm putting this in B tier. Well, I do despise data collection, and I think it would be better off if these companies, let us be and did not sell our data off. But the only reason this is a B tier is it doesn't require you to submit any government documents, so that's great. Also, with our current state of our world, unfortunately, I know these companies are already collecting all of this data on you, so they have it already, right? They know all about you that they know. So if they're going to use that data to allow you to determine your age and not have to take an ID or a face scan, I guess, that's better. But so that's why we're putting it in B tier. It's an okay option. I'd still prefer the first two. Coming into C tier, now we're getting into the bad stuff, the real shite. We have AI facial scans. Now, again, this isn't a D, E, or F tier because they are relatively easy to circumvent using filters or, photos of other people and things like that. However, I think that as technology progresses, that will likely get harder and harder to accomplish. So I would say a solid C tier on that one. Moving on to our D tier, we have credit card age verification. This one, it could be a C tier depending on the circumstances. I would say, a lot of adults for whatever services that they're using, maybe they're already paying for a subscription like that Nitro subscription. They might already have a card on file. And if a company can use that to determine your age, I suppose that's still better than taking a government ID. But I still don't want to have to explicitly give out my credit card to verify my age. The only way that would work for me is if I'm already giving a company my credit card to make a purchase on something. So I'm going to put that one in D tier. Now, we're skipping over the E tier on this one. We're going straight to the F tier. Because in my opinion, there is no good reason you should ever give out your government issued ID to any sort of website. I don't care how good their service or features or what they have that you might need. It's just not worth it. I think this one, ID age verification, is just completely unacceptable. It goes against everything we've been taught about internet safety. I don't see how there's any way to defend it, really. I think that is just a terrible option, and I think we should strive to find something better. Any of these other options, even the ones I don't like, are better than this. This is just unacceptable. You should not be giving your ID. So if a company does ask you to submit your ID, do not use that service. It's not worth it. I promise you. Get a VPN, find a workaround, but do not give them your government ID. It's just ridiculous that they would even be asking you or requiring that. So I think that about sums it up here. Okay, I know that was a bit silly, but I think it shows just how much we've given up in recent years in regards to data privacy. It's sad to admit, but the latest trend in our digital world is to trade anonymity for access. I don't think I'd have as much of a problem with this if there wasn't an exorbitant amount of money to be made from harvesting data. And I don't think Discord is exempt from this. It is interesting to note that the rollout of these policies coincide with their announcement that they would soon be going public as a traded company. Collecting as much data as possible has always been the goal of tech giant executives, and I don't see why Discord would be any different in this case. I'm really not sure if there's anything we can do to stop it. All I know is that we need to raise more attention to this issue. And Discord isn't alone. Many companies and governments are currently developing their own systems for digital identity verification. And despite their efforts, there is yet to be a single system that doesn't leave its users' information vulnerable to data breaches. The framework created today will set the precedent for digital privacy for many years to come. Sure, Discord has taken a step back, postponing their new age verification policies until the second half of 2026, along with offering greater transparency on how user data will be processed, but it's still a step in the wrong direction. Now, I know what critics will say. I'm not a child, so these policies only serve to inconvenience me, and as a result, I'm simply ignoring the entire other half of the argument, which is that these policies are here to protect children.
Donate to the children's fund? Why? What have children ever done for me?
And it's not a bad point. Adolescents are particularly vulnerable when it comes to online platforms and communication systems.
There's something you need to know.
Is there cops?
There's something you need to know.
Please?
I'm Chris Hansen.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
But we have to look at the entire situation rationally and find a solution that doesn't place everyone at risk. Some might say it's a parent's responsibility to control a child's access to technology, and while I could make a strong case for that argument, it doesn't seem to be entirely realistic or feasible in our modern day digitally integrated world. And I can't say I have the perfect solution either. All I know is that the current systems making headway are riddled with downsides. Companies like Discord like to pretend that they have the perfect system and that your data is secure, when time and time again we can observe breaches and misuse. The reality is that your data, when willingly provided to these companies, is never safe. And the more we give in to these systems, the more we're placing ourselves at risk.